Hello guys, so another video here, and this video is all about three main mistakes I personally made, and that's made me learn from and not make these mistakes again. It's something when I was just getting started with things, uh, it kind of was a mistake, but it was also a learning experience at the same time. So, if you're out there and you're trying to set up your own thing, and you might come across some of these types of things which I came across also, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because you can learn from it and it makes you better at the same time. So specifically for what I'm doing in terms of lead gen and the appointment setting and all that other kind of stuff, hope help them with like the whole process, mainly with solar and like home improvement companies. This is kind of my experience, so I can walk through this. And if you enjoy the video, feel free to give it a like or subscribe. So basically, these are the main mistakes that I've made. So the first one was outsourcing too soon. So there is a lot of people out there that just say, just outsource, which is fine. But what I did was I kind of tried to outsource it too soon. So, like, for example, Facebook ads, trying to outsource it because I didn't really know what I was doing. Rather than just confronting that and actually taking time to like learn and get better myself before trying to outsource it. Um, it could be a mistake, but it could also be a learning experience because it was actually like a white label company. And the thing is, why I thought it was a mistake, because I probably could have just easily did it myself and learned it myself after seeing what they done. So maybe it's because they weren't the best at what they do, but it just made me realize how simple it can be, and I was just overcomplicating it. So I wasn't doing the right thing. So I was just overcomplicating the whole process. With ads and things like that, it does require two people to make it work. So you could be giving your client the best quality leads ever, and it's still not going to work because maybe they're bad at sales, they're not good at following up, all these different factors. Whereas I thought, this was just the golden ticket to getting the best results possible, but that's not always the case because it's a lot more than just getting good results. You need to have good communication. You need to actually develop a relationship with who you work with because people buy from people. So that's kind of what I learned. But it was a mistake in my end, but it was also like a learning experience because I was able to go on and just realize that I could do this myself easily, and then easily pass it off to people, um, with a solid process. So that's kind of the one thing. So if you're out there, take the time, and my advice is to learn at least the basics, the fundamentals, and then when it's taking up too much of your time, then you can outsource it. That's just my opinion. So second big mistake, and you're gonna come across this no matter what if you're doing similar stuff to myself, is bad clients. So taking on really just whoever I needed to take on because I just thought, I might as well do it. It doesn't matter if there's red flags or anything like that. I'll just do it anyway, just to try to get some form of a result, experience, and get momentum going. But sometimes this actually can be something that holds you back because you could have good clients who barely even complain or anything like that, and they just kind of just just you update them regularly and they just do their own thing and everything runs smoothly. And then you might have someone who's just always giving you a headache, um, and it actually takes too much energy out of you when you could be focusing that on getting more clients. So this has happened to me, a good few times where I have dealt with this kind of thing. So not everyone's going to be perfect with who you work with. You're always going to have to deal with certain things, but there's like things to look out for, in terms of people who could possibly just be setting you back 2 steps rather than getting you 1 step forward. And it's best just to say no to them sometimes. You know, there's lots of different red flags that I've noticed for this kind of thing. It could be them asking for commission only up front, trying to get you to work for free. They don't respect your value, everything like that. They don't show up to calls. They don't communicate properly. Um, there's so many. You know, there is quite a lot, and you will learn, and it's hard to just pinpoint one exact thing, but you can get a feeling. When you're on like a sales call, for example, or you're just initially talking to someone, you can get a feeling. Is this really someone I want to work with? You know, One of them that I've noticed as well, it's like, when I've been talking to people, let's say they've been working with like 5 different people who's tried to help them, and they just badmouth each one of them, and they say things like refunds. They wanted refunds. They want to charge. They try to charge back everything like that. When you start to hear things like that too much, now sometimes it's fair enough. People are within their rights to refund, but when you start to hear people here just obviously stating that they want things like that, and they have horrible expectations, and they mention things like refunds, terrible experiences with five, not nothing's worked, nothing's ever worked. That's when you're just gonna deal with a bad client who's gonna be crap no matter what. So no matter how good your system is, they're gonna give you a headache, and they're gonna be just hard to work with mentally because they just don't have the mindset, to make it work. And it can be overcome for sure, but yeah, that's just things to look out for. So that's like my third thing here. So just keeping this a nice quick video. And the third mistake in my opinion, is avoiding the pain. So even now, this is something like a current thing that I deal with as well. I think a lot of people deal with it. Is lots of the times you know what you have to do, but you don't do it. So for example, cold calls. Setting yourself like a target of like cold calls to do for the day, but you don't do it because it's just painful, and and that's basically like a mistake. So you're avoiding the pain. This could be applied to like doing the actual service delivery. That was an example of above. I wanted to outsource because I was kind of avoiding the pain of being afraid to fail with it, whereas I could have just did a good amount of research on YouTube, found out everything I needed, and went from there. But also other things like outreach. If you're doing outreach for your agency or whatever like that, I was always avoiding pain, basically. So now I've just gotten when you change your mindset and just accept the pain, and there's always going to be pain no matter what. It gets easier because you just do what you need to do, and then you kind of just get used to it, and you start to you actually start to like the pain of things. Like something's going to be difficult to do, and you just want to do it because you just got used to that feeling, and you start to enjoy it. So maybe that's a bit weird, but that's kind of how you need to approach things. If something horrible happens, you need to be excited to solve it, or if there's something difficult you need to do for the day, you need to you know look forward to doing that. But like I says, that's just my experience and like the top 3 things for me. There's lots of other things that I can mention here, but it's just the top three. So if there's any other ones you think could be added here, in terms of different mistakes, or even your own mistakes you think has happened to you, feel free to leave it in the comment section. And yeah, that's basically it.